All right, so move on to the next segment. We're going to pivot over here to the world of MMA inside the UFC world. And I'll be sharing my fight summary on the fight that took place last night in the main event of UFC 323 between Merab and Petr Yan. So in the main event of UFC 323, it was Petr Yan that pulled off the upset and became the new bantamweight champion by defeating Merab by unanimous decision in the main event of UFC 323. Big shocker. But my thoughts on the fight. Honestly, Petr Yan did his damn thing. It was a masterclass performance. I scored the fight 49-46 in favor of Petr Yan to become the new bantamweight champion, and it happened. If you love elite fighting, this was your type of fight between Petr Yan and Merab. Like, this was a masterclass performance by Petr Yan. He cracked the code because heading into this fight, I didn't think anybody at this bantamweight division had a clear path to victory to defeat Merab based off the type of a run that he's been at for the last few years at the bantamweight division. But Petr Yan cracked the code. He stuffed the takedowns, landed significant strikes, outworked Merab. Perfect body shots landing with the leg kicks landing to the liver, making Merab show uncharacteristic things and characteristic traits in the octagon. Screaming in agony and in pain, not even hiding the fact that he's in pain, and Petr Yan just taking advantage of landing the significant body shots to make Merab slow down in the octagon. And the fact that he defended 24 out of 26 takedowns against Merab, the best takedown fighter and one of the best wrestlers that the UFC has to offer in UFC history, he stuffed 92% of the takedowns that Merab tried to shoot at him in the main event of UFC 323 last night. So the fact that this man was landing significant strikes from rounds 1 to 5, I think he definitely cracked Merab's nose. I don't know if he broke it or not, but it had Merab bleeding like a stuffed pig and just never looked back. And I give him so much credit in the world because I did not honestly think anybody at this bantamweight division was going to beat this version of Merab for a very long time. But Petr Yan cashed in on his opportunity in the rematch and became the new bantamweight champion. And he must have had a perfect training camp, but not only a perfect training camp, but a grueling training camp to put him in the best shape of his life to swim in the deep waters against Merab that only gets better as the rounds go on. And he gets stronger, faster as the rounds get on. But it was Petr Yan that matched the energy that Merab normally shows in championship rounds, where Merab will take bantamweight fighters to the deep waters and drown them in championship rounds. That wasn't the case, and Petr Yan actually did that to Merab. So I give him a lot of credit. He outstriked Merab, landed more significant strikes. Was better on the ground as well. Shockingly, I'm pretty sure he had more control time, and I'm just still lost for words. This was just one hell of a performance by Petr Yan. And now Petr Yan moves to 20-5 in his MMA career. Now is a two-time bantamweight champion. So we'll see what type of bantamweight champion this time around Petr Yan will be. But he now has avenged his loss against Merab, a rematch 2 years in the making. And now he's a two-time undisputed bantamweight champion. But as for Merab, this man deserves his flowers because not only was he the workhorse, not only was he the MVP of this bantamweight division, I mean, this man was the MVP male. I still believe he's male fighter of the year for the UFC. I mean, 4 title defenses, daring yourself to be great this year, fought 4 times, put on exciting fights all year long in the calendar year 2025. A perfect active champion. You can't ask for more as an active champion in the UFC. Nobody was taking as many risks as Merab was in the calendar year 2025. I still believe he's the greatest bantamweight fighter of all time. He has a lot to be proud of. This is not the end of the road for him. I think he'll bounce back, and we'll see if he can be world champion again at this 135-pound division in the bantamweight division in the UFC. But before I close out, should there be a rematch next? I think a rematch between Merab and Petr Yan would obviously be the right call here. Perfect trilogy because Merab did defeat Petr Yan in 2023, and Petr Yan just defeated Merab, the best version of Merab, for the bantamweight championship. So both fighters won against each other by unanimous decision. The series is tied 1-1. We need the trilogy early 2026. Nobody's more deserving of an immediate rematch than Merab for everything that he did for the calendar year of 2025, having 4 title defenses, daring himself to be great. There's no way he's got to jump through hoops to get another title shot. I'm not buying that. And I somewhat like the idea that Petr Yan had for Merab and Umar to fight each other in their own rematch, with the winner getting a bantamweight title shot. No. And I think Dana White knows that's not the correct answer. I think it's somewhat a good idea, but Merab is deserving of getting an immediate rematch. Because there's nobody really for Petr Yan to defend the title against right now at the bantamweight division. Corey Sandhagen, you can't turn around and give him a title shot after he just lost against Merab a few months ago. The rest of the division with the biggest names is occupied right now anyway. Sean O'Malley is going to fight Song Yodong in January. I don't think the winner of that fight should rightfully get a championship fight. You also have Merab, who's going to want a fight as soon as possible once he recovers. And Umar, I think, should probably get one more fight before fighting a title eliminator fight. I honestly think that's the correct way to go, that Petr Yan should give Merab a rematch. You possibly have the winner, Sean O'Malley and Song Yodong, fight Umar at some point in 2026. But yeah, this man deserves an immediate rematch. Don't have him jump through hoops. I know Dana White and the rest of the UFC executives know that, but I'm looking forward to the trilogy that we will see in 2026 at some point between Petr Yan and Merab. But honestly, outstanding performance by Petr Yan to defeat an all-time great in Merab the way that he did. Again, 49-46 is a big margin in a championship fight, and he did his damn thing. And I think he deserves it. And hopefully he could be a good world champion once again at bantamweight. But that is my fight summary on the main event of UFC 323 between Merab and Petr Yan.